Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I actually forgot what I was going to say. I forgot what this video is about because I've just been thinking about Taylor Swift and the life of a showgirl. Oh my god, yes. Anyway, the main point of the video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about all the things I read in the month of September. So we're going to do a little wrap up of all the 5 books that I read, which is actually really good for me this month. I haven't read that many books in a month since I think July. Maybe even June. Disgusting. And maybe like a little TBR for October. We'll see how long it takes. I don't want to make this video too long. So let's get into it. However, if you have listened to Life of a Showgirl, let me know down in the comments which is your favourite song on the album. Because mine, I think, is, I don't know. I want to say Opalite. I think Opalite so far. I also love Father Figure. That's a great one. Anyway, let me know. So the first book I read this month was Stuck With You. I know it's a short story. Don't even start on me. I am skimping, okay? I am saving my pennies and I don't care that it's part of like Loath to Love You, which is a book. I'm counting it as a short story and each short story counts as one book. I much preferred this to Under One Roof, which is the first in the Loath to Love You like short stories. There's basically 3. And why did it take me 2 books to realize that it's kind of interconnected? I had no clue. I literally finished Stuck With You and I was like, wait, her friends sound familiar. That's a familiar storyline. And then I realized that it's basically about 3 friends and each story is about one of the friends. And I did not click. Maybe because I read them separately. I didn't read them as like one thing. She gets stuck with a guy in the lift. He is really handsome, really attractive, but the more you read the story, the more you realize that there's actually history and they didn't meet in the lift. Like they already know each other and something happened, they met, they kind of hit it off and then it all went wrong. And you're kind of getting flashbacks of the past and then also getting bits in the present when they're stuck in the lift. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really good. I'm kind of savoring them so I can have them like in between reads. I feel like I'm trying to be like really stingy with them and kind of leave them there so I can pick them up. But I am loving them. I am really excited to read the 3rd one. Yes. The next read of the month was Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. I love this so much. This was such a shock to me. This was my first like true dark romance. I've read Lights Out before and fantasy, like dark fantasy romance, but I've never really read like an actual dark romance. I did check the trigger warnings, but I didn't really know what they meant. Like, I'm not well like versed in like trigger warnings vocabulary, so I kind of read it and I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a go, and if I don't like it, I can always just leave it and not finish it. The first chapter was a bit jarring, I won't lie, but I wanted to give it a chance because I was really enjoying the writing, and I'm so glad I did. The writing in this book was so amazing. The character development was incredible, and what was really nice about this book is that it feels really interactive. And what I mean by interactive is obviously these characters are unlikable. They're very dark characters. They're very morally black. Like, they're just awful people, really. But you obviously, as a reader, want to find things for you to cling on to. You want to like have things that you like about them. You know, even morally grey characters, you kind of hang on to the things that make them kind of good, or like you cling on to the turning point of those characters, like morally. And with this book, it was really tough. It was really tough to find things in these characters to like and appreciate, and it just felt like I was kind of having to put a lot of the work in a really good way, not like in terms of like ignoring things that I don't like or like pacing or stuff. It was more that I had to put in the work to really understand and have empathy for these characters, even though I didn't want to because they were horrible people. But I really loved that interaction. I rated this 5 stars. I thought the pacing was really good. Again, I love the character development. I love her writing, and I really can't wait for book 2. And I'm also really excited to read Rena Kent books now because I haven't read any yet, and she has a lot, which is terrifying, but also kind of fun. So I will definitely I have like the whole Legacy of God series on my Kindle, which I really want to give a go potentially this month, but I don't know. There's so many things to read. Anyway, Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. Is that Rachel Harrison? Yeah, Rachel Harrison was my next read of the month. And I had such high hopes for this because I kind of felt like it would give me Bride vibes by Ali Hazelwood. It's a supernatural rom-com, I want to say. I mean, that's kind of what it was sold as to me, and that's kind of what I thought it was, but it really wasn't that. Yes, it's supernatural, but it's one of those books where the supernatural element is ultra realistic and it is basically set in the present, in the real world. There's like no fantasy to it at all. There's no like world building or anything like that. Even like with Bride, there is kind of a world that is built in Bride. Even though it's like present day, it kind of makes its own like universe. You know what I mean? Like it kind of makes its own dimension. Whereas this was definitely set now and like in this world, in this realm that we live in. And to be honest, the supernatural element really, really pissed me off. Really pissed me off. Like if people tell you that this is like Bride, they're just wrong. I'm sorry, they are just wrong. I was just so disappointed. I had such high hopes. This is basically also like a cowboy romance, okay? So it's a girl who comes back to a small town to help her twin sister who has fallen pregnant, and the guy that she got pregnant by isn't in the picture. There's a mystery with that. There's a lot of like family trauma with her mum and like the men she had in her life, and there's just a lot of family trauma, emotional kind of entanglement of all these characters. And then there's like a childhood sweetheart that had a crush on her when she was little, and he's been in love with her his whole life, which is, to me, all of that was great. I actually really enjoyed the family drama, like the little romance subplot, everything to do with her twin sister. But for some reason, in the midst of all of this, she's turning into a werewolf, which just is so unnecessary. Honestly, I did not think it needed to be in there whatsoever. It just made no sense. And like the main character also reacts to the changes in like her life, basically becoming a werewolf and everything, was so blasé. She was just like did not care that she was basically becoming a werewolf. Was so chill about it. There's also quite a bit of like body horror, which I did not enjoy. Like there was bits of this book that were actually disgusting, like really disgusting. And again, I just felt it was so unnecessary. It was basically just to like freak you out. I don't know. It kind of screams to me that the author wasn't confident in the story that she wrote, and she felt necessary to add a supernatural element with all these things that are gory, and it just didn't work for me. Like take all that out and you've literally got a cowboy romance, which would have been so much more preferable to me anyway. I may have had a different opinion if I didn't go in with like certain expectations, but I did. My next read of the month was, quite frankly, another disappointment, and it was The Summer I First Saw You by Elizabeth O'Rourke. And this, from the description, was kind of giving me problematic summer romance vibes, which was one of my favorite reads this year. And I don't know why I was expecting it to be like an Ali Hazelwood book. If you want Ali Hazelwood, just read Ali Hazelwood. I just feel like this was just fine. Like, it's nothing to write home about. The main character was so infuriating. She just basically was whining the whole time. She was complaining the whole time that her mum was really supportive, wanted great things for her, and just was wanting to like her have a future. No, wanting her to have a future, wanting her to have things, and all she wanted to do in life was just stay at home and cook and go surfing, which I do get. Like, I do get that. I completely understand. I also would love to do these things. However, I don't know, I just found it so ungrateful. I just thought, wow, you have a really nice parent that actually wants things for you, and all you can do is complain. Anyway, I just found it to be really immature. There's basically no plot. I mean, thank God this was really short because I would have DNF'd it, but it was fine. It was just fine. I think I rated this 2.5, 3 stars. And then we rounded the month with a very good read from Ali Hazelwood. I can always trust this woman to just deliver on any front. I would read a freaking receipt if she wrote it, okay? We read Hot for Slayer, which is part of a series called Scared Sexy. A bunch of spicy romance writers wrote 6 stories, short stories that are basically like a monster romance or like supernatural romance, and they're very spicy. I'm actually currently reading them, so I'll let you know what I think when I've like finished them all. But they are really fun. So I read the Ali Hazelwood one, Hot for Slayer, and it is basically Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But basically, Spike and Buffy change roles. This was really fun. She's a vampire, he's a vampire slayer, and they have tons of history. And this is exactly why I love Ali Hazelwood, right? Because she can write an 88-page book, novella, short story, whatever. And there was like yearning, there was history, there was like thousands of years of longing. Like, how do you do that in an 88-page book? That's crazy to me. I just love my girl. I just love her. Like, no notes, just perfection. I rated it 4 stars purely because I wanted it to be longer. That's the only reason why I rated it down, is because I wanted more. And I would have read a whole book if she put it out of these characters. This was so much fun. It's 88 pages, so there's just no excuse. It's so short. So these are the books that I read in the month of September. And I don't know if this is cheating, but I really want to include it. I finished Daughter of No Worlds on the 1st of October. So technically kind of still counts, I want to say, because I read it throughout the most of September. It took me quite a long time and I loved it. Yeah, this was a great way for me to get back into romantasy. Funnily enough, I actually started reading The Serpent and the Wings of Night last year, and I DNF'd it. I didn't like it at all. I just didn't like the world that was set in. It wasn't for me. I might actually go back to it at some point, maybe next year, because I loved this. And I was really shocked because I really didn't like The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which was crazy to me. And I also read Six Scorched Roses, and I did prefer it, but I think it was only because it was so short. It's a short story again. But I'm loving this so much. I honestly just was like, I really, really love the relationship between Tisana and Max and the way it develops. It's so incredibly sweet. It's honestly one of the best like stories of 2 main characters that I've read. It just felt really original and really organic, purely because they basically start off as friends. They make friends first and they become really good allies and they have such respect for each other. That comes first, and then the romance slowly starts to creep in, which I just absolutely loved. I really, really did. I love the magic of the world. I love Tisana. I think she's such an amazing main character. I honestly can't wait. I'm gonna read the next books this month. So that's basically all the books that I read from September. And moving on to my TBR for October, which I'm really excited about. I'm obviously going to carry on reading the Daughter of No World series. I want to finish it before May comes out on Tuesday. And May by Ali Hazelwood comes out on Tuesday. I just said that. But that is definitely my TBR this month. I cannot wait. I would love to read Manacled as well, but I'm not sure. I would also love to read Flamefall, which is the sequel to Fireborn and the whole like Aurelian Cycle trilogy. I really loved Fireborn. I highly recommend that if you haven't read it. That is a great fantasy book with like a romance ghost subplot. Like, it's very, very slight, but it is there and it is a big part of the book. I would also like to read We Have Always Lived in a Castle, because that has been on my TBR for quite some time. There's honestly too many books that I'd like to read. On my TBR like list, I've got like God of Malice, which is another Rena Kent book, Nocticadia by Kerry Lake, Anathema by Kerry Lake. It's so frustrating because I have so many good books to read for Halloween and like spooky season, but again I have too many books to read for Halloween and spooky season, and I just don't think I'm gonna like reach that. Also, The Defender comes out. I've just remembered it's an Anna Wong sequel to The Striker. The Striker was one of my favorite books this year. Oh, I'm so excited for that. I just remembered. Yes, okay. The Defender by Anna Wong comes out on the 27th of this month. Also, Revolve comes out on the 14th of October. Yeah! I remember things very well. That is a lot of books to read this month. I'm hoping I can get all of them in. If I can, that's going to be great. I probably won't. And I'll probably change my mind because I do that. But the focus of this month is actually new releases. Also next month as well, because these 2 books coming out next month. I know. I'm excited. Let me know if any of the things on my TBR are on your TBR, because I'll be vlogging this month. So we can read a bunch of these together. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, do the things, because I appreciate it. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!